Welcome back, everyone, to a Monday Slab Stocks Live, to another Monday Slab Stocks Live. I am Nate. Of course, I'm not Aaron. Aaron usually leads these things. I am not Aaron. And Aaron is not here. Instead, we have his padre, his father, Papa Slab, aka Jeff, in the house, repping the brand. And number one, first and foremost, welcome. Welcome to
Hey,
the show.
Nate, thank you for having me. I am sitting in Aaron's hot seat. I think this is a first. Kind of exciting.
Yeah. We will have to spend some time bashing on Aaron, as I like to do. We can both do that now, and he's not here to defend himself. And we'll have a good show. So, for those of you that are wondering what the show is about today, I did not realize that the upcoming was in the corner, so you can't see what it says in the lead screen here. But it is sports card trivia. So we are back with some trivia questions, and it is going to be 11 questions. I came up with 11 different questions. Some are easy, some are a little bit more difficult, but I would say none of them are absurd. And I think last time I did this, I came up with some very absurd ones that are like nigh impossible to answer. And so I tried to avoid that. So we have 11 easy to moderate questions today, which should be a good time, lead to some discussion, yada, yada, yada.
Well, Nate, they're awesome questions. I had a chance to preview them, and yeah, they challenged me. I don't know if they'll challenge this audience, who has deep knowledge, but they did challenge me. I kind of feel like, did you ever go to take your kid to work day with your mom or dad over the years?
Never with my mom working in a hospital, but with my dad a few times I ended up in his office.
Well,
Yeah.
now you know how I feel sitting here. I kind of feel like take your dad to work day. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
And you've gotten to do this with Aaron, right? And now you get to do it with me, and it's full circle.
I do. And Nate, we've known each other for a long time. So I'm going to start. Since I'm in this seat, I get a chance to kind of grill you a little bit. So I don't
Okay.
know if you're prepared for that or not.
I
But
I am always prepared.
all right, I know you are. So let's start with this one. I get a chance to edit your writing in the Daily Slab, and I'm sure everybody knows what the Daily Slab is, right? Our daily e-newsletter that comes out. And Nate, you're a very colorful writer, but you've depressed me lately because you have me convinced that I will never see another 700 home run hitter in my lifetime. I don't even know if you're convinced that you're going to see one in your lifetime. So, what gives? Tell me a little bit why I should savor that YouTube video of watching Albert Pujols in his joy running the base after that 2 home run game, which was awesome. It was awesome.
Yes. So, well, for starters, every player that's up right now had to deal with a COVID shortened season. And some of the guys that seem like they would have a shot at it, Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, guys like that, they've dealt with either injuries or poor production the last couple of years. And if you're not having great production in your 20s consistently all the time, by the time you hit your late 30s, you're still not going to be on pace. Another guy like Mike Trout, he was going to be one of those guys that could maybe get close to 700, and then he dealt with injuries and injuries and injuries and injuries. And
Yep, that's
so,
true.
like, some of those guys, the young guys, it's one of those things. Some other guys, Yordan Alvarez, he is 2 home runs away from 100 in his career. He's a big home run hitter, but he's 25 this year. He didn't come up early, and 2020 only played 2 games, and these last 2 years, 87 games his first year, 144 last year, 128. And so for me, I don't think guys are going to be playing enough games. The young guys with COVID and everything, they had a chance, probably not anymore. And then I don't think the other guys coming up after this are going to play 162 games every single season to be able to get the sheer numbers. Because if we look up Albert Pujols' stats, like Jordan is going to come up short of 150 games 2 years in a row. That's 12 missed games in a year. Um, Albert Pujols played 161, 157, 157, 154, 161 through his age 25 season, barely missing any games. 143, 158, 148, 160, 159, 147, 154. The lowest amount of games he played in his first 11 years in the league was 143 games, and he only played under 153 times.
Wow.
Um, he also aged 34, 35, 36. He played over 150 games. 37, he played almost 150 at 149. So it's just one of those things where it's consistency. And I just don't know if nowadays, with the managers that are around, they don't want to play their stars every day. They want to give them rest. So that's like built in, 12 extra off days a year, you get to 150. You have a nagging injury, that's an extra 5-6 games off. Most guys go through nagging injuries and they don't play instead of the Pools, the Prince Fielders of the world that would play every day, no matter what, even if they weren't healthy. And so at the end of the year, if each of these guys is missing, say, 20 games a year, you add that up over a 20-year career, that's 400 games. That's over 2 seasons of games where they don't get any stats. And
That's a
so for
great
me,
point.
I just don't think they're going to be playing enough to get to that number.
There you go. So you depressed me, man.
My bad.
I'm kidding. No, that was a great show this weekend, though. That was awesome. All right. Second grill for you. First of all, congratulations on your Tua call. I've been listening to you talk about him for quite a while. And so when I saw the game, right, Miami versus the Bills, I'm like, I got to pay attention to this game and see if Nate's right, So 2 questions for you. First of all, was Tua knocked out or was it actually a back injury when he got up staggering? They pulled him from the game and then he comes back in. What do you think?
So that was what Tua said. He said his back locked up on him. I've seen quite a few people that get concussed, get up, and then stumble around, and that's what it looked like to me. I mean, maybe, maybe he got up and all of a sudden his back's like, oh,
Yeah,
and
locked up.
he can't move. But I don't buy it. I bet he was probably concussed, and I bet the Dolphins are probably going to get in trouble for putting him back in that game.
Interesting. It's almost Brett Favre-esque, though.
Mhm.
It
That
was
one time when he got absolutely obliterated, and then came back in and threw a touchdown to like Al Ferguson or something.
crazy. Spitting blood comes back in.
Amazing.
All right, but you know what the big question is? Is the butt fumble going to be surpassed by the butt punt? What do you think?
Ooh, so I forget the punter's name now. I heard it a million times on ESPN.
It was big
Number
news.
20, I think it was number 20 for the Colts, just kept backing up. Was it Morstead or something like that?
Yeah,
But just
it
kept
was a
backing up.
Miami game. I went back and looked. It was Miami versus the
It was
Bills.
Miami.
Yep.
Okay. Oh man, I watched it a million times this morning. All I can say is number 20. That was I think he's the guy that hikes the ball. He just kept backing up. Nobody was touching him. He just kept backing up, back right up into the punter. Like what was the punter supposed to do? That was as absurd as it gets. Between him and that being a safety, and then Jimmy Garoppolo stepping out back of the end zone for a safety, which actually ended up working in the 49ers' favor because he ended up throwing a pick on that play after he stepped out that would have been returned for a touchdown. So they
Yep.
ended up actually saving themselves 5 points by stepping back. But two of the more absurd safeties I've ever seen.
I think if I heard it right, that was a first in NFL history. The butt punt.
The butt punt safety.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine.
Second of all, Miami probably should have lost that game
Oh yeah,
based on that whole debacle. And somehow, even worse than that, Buffalo mismanages the clock like crazy down at the end. And
and
that's
at the
it,
end of the
right?
first half, Josh Allen fumbled the snap on the spike to stop the clock to be able to kick a field goal, and so
Oh man.
he then chucked it out to Josh Allen or to Stephon Diggs wide, and Diggs couldn't get out of bounds, so they muffed that opportunity for a field goal away also, and they only lost by 2.
Yeah. It was
Pretty
interesting,
terrible.
no doubt. Interesting game, entertaining for sure.
Well, should we get into the live here?
Let's do it. I know you worked hard on this, so let's get the
All right.
conversation going. Make sure we get some good answers. Hello to Jordan. Thank you very much. Appreciate the
Shout out,
welcome.
shout out Jordan, always here. And we met him at the National. Great guy. So PWCC, real quick, PWCC podium today. Have three quarterbacks on here. Tua, obviously a stud. Tom Brady, less of a stud, lost this weekend, trash. And then Trevor Lawrence, with an absolute dominant win against the Chargers this weekend, in which it's amazing how you get decent coaching in there and you get all those high draft picks, and then a quarterback that was like as highly touted as anybody since, like, I don't know, Andrew Luck, and all of a sudden you're starting to win games and you're winning them. They won that one handily, and so you got Tua at $18,600 for the Stars and Stripes, NT Stars and Stripes out of 20, BGS 8.5. The Tom Brady for 16,200. That is the 2000 playoff contenders auto PSA 4, the lowest sale, or the lowest graded card that's ever been sold. PSA 4, it's sold a couple times. And then also the Trevor Lawrence Stars NT Stars and Stripes out of 25, not 20 like the Tua, BGS 8.5, that sold also for 16,200. So we asked Instagram best bang for the buck, and 61% said Tom Brady contenders, and it's hard to argue. I get that it's a PSA 4, but you're talking about a Tua who's had three, a great start to the season, and it has been good when he's in there, but hasn't always been in there. And then Trevor Lawrence, who was terrible last year and has pretty much had two good games in his career in the last two games. Or you have Tom Brady. I mean, good games in their careers. I don't even know if you add those together, if it amounts to the amount of Super Bowls Tom Brady's appeared in.
Yeah, for sure. That PSA 4 is shocking to look at, though. Isn't it, for that kind of money?
I mean, this is truly one of those buy the card, not the grade. Like, if you want a Tom Brady contenders auto, there's not that many. And you can get one that's a PSA 4 for a fraction of the price of other ones. I mean, if I was a Patriots fan or a Tom Brady fan and I had that money, I would do it.
Hello to Gabriel. Appreciate the highs. That's awesome. Hey, you know what, though? As a Packer fan, I'll tell you, I was sweating it out when Packers left the door open for Brady. I was just waiting for another one of those Brady miracles. We saw 3 picks in a playoff game, and he still
And they
wins,
still
right?
won.
I was
Well,
waiting for it.
we can. Kevin King is no longer on the team. If Kevin King was a Packer, we would have lost that game for sure. Just because Kevin King was the sole reason we didn't end up in the Super Bowl. What was that? 2 years ago?
Yep.
3 years ago?
Yep. There's so many you can go back to. The reason we weren't in the Super Bowl.
Yep. It generally comes down to like one dude was terrible that day.
One play.
Next up is our trender up, trender down, and both of these kind of hurt as a Milwaukee fan. Albert Pujols, of course, is the up trender, and his 2001 SP Authentic, numbered to 1250 BGS 10, sold for $9,300 yesterday on the PWCC weekly auction. That was a 29% increase in 3 weeks. One sold on Golden a couple weeks ago for 29% less. And then the trender down was this Giannis 2013 Court Kings Next Day Auto. Next Day Autos are, of course, some of the nicest autos, rookie autos you can get, and especially on card. And BGS 9.5 sold for $11,100, which is a 28% downswing in 6 months. Not 100% sure what's going on there, outside of the fact that, BGS 9.5 could have had to do with the subgrades, or maybe it's just, no basketball news is no basketball news, and there's a drop there. But 28% is pretty significant for that nice of a card. And so, but our question to Instagram was, is it time to buy or sell Pujols? And I don't know what the chat thinks, but 76% of the Instagram community said sell as opposed to buy. And I do appreciate that they said that because, yes, Pools is amazing. Yes, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yes, he just hit 700 home runs, but you will likely be able to buy this exact same card, for cheaper 3 months from now. So if you really want it, I would buy it then.
Nate, I totally agree with you. I should have listened to you a long time ago because your selling advice is always spot on. And I've tended to hang on to things much too long. And then in the long run, I'm just like, oh, geez, I should have sold when the hype was there, versus, hanging on and just thinking you could sit on it forever. So
Yep.
I like your philosophy of taking profit when it's there
Yeah,
and
that's
buying back,
yeah. That's my number one goal is if I am making profit, just take it. I mean, yes. Could I make more in the future on certain guys? Probably. And in some cases, I definitely could have. I sold a Vlad Topps Chrome Sapphire for $1,750. 2 sales after mine, it sold for $3,000. But one of those things where if you're taking profit, you can't be upset, and then you don't run into situations where you're losing money.
Yep. Good
Uh,
advice. Looks like they agree with you too.
they do, and I am thrilled. I am thrilled that they do because that means 76% of people are not realistically losing a ton of money. And then lastly, we've got our little budget section. We talk a lot about high price cards on PWCC auctions, but you can get some nice cards for cheap. The LaMelo Ball, the Spectra LaMelo Celestial right there, PSA 8, I believe, is out of 99. That sold for $120. The Phoenix Rookie Rising Green of Mac Jones, PSA 9, is out of 25. That sold for $46. The Bukayo Saka Blue Shimmer from Merlin SGC 95, which I believe is out of 75, but don't quote me on that. Sold for 112. I mean, that's 3 different numbered cards, 3 different from 3 different products of 3 different major players for $120 or under. Then you have the Cristiano Ronaldo treble, 2018 treble New Sensations Red. I do forget what that's numbered out of. PSA 8 that sold for 81. Jason Dominguez Blue Mojo out of 150, PSA 9 that sold for 105, and the LeBron James 2021 Revolution Cubic out of 50 SGC 9 that sold for $79. So I can't remember the Cristiano Ronaldo number, but I'm pretty sure all of these are numbered and they all sold for $120. So if you're a fan of a team and you want a player, PWCC is still the place to go. Find some cheap cards, and you can get some pretty cool stuff numbered for relatively cheap.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys digging for these, and kind of showing some of the stuff that's out there. I read the Instagram post that you wrote up today on the PWCC weekly auction. And one of your last words of advice in there is hang out at PWCC weekly auction to get a couple, good lower price snipes out there. So what's your advice? How do you do it? Every time I go out there, I either get outbid or I get stuck with paying way more than I wanted to.
Um, I don't really have advice. Honestly, sometimes it just comes down to straight luck. You you find the cards you want, put in numbers you're comfortable with. A decent chunk of the time you're going to get outbid. That happens. And then every once in a while you're going to find a steal, and it's going to be the most amazing feeling in the entire world. We
Usually
did
your
that
fists
with
are flying when you get one, I think.
Yeah.
That's what
We
I've
did that with
seen.
Francisco Alvarez, Francisco Alvarez a couple weeks ago. Mets catching prospect, Bowman Chrome Auto PSA 10. And it was electric. And also, welcome Global, welcome Will, welcome Gabriel and Bazooka Tom. Bazooka Tom, the new owner of the sweetest Soka one of one sketch card I've ever seen. Kind of looks like a blank slate. If you guys know the blank slate cards, LaMelo or LeBron or anything like that, it has that feeling. Super, 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 super cool. And he pulled that last night and he shared it with me today. and it was legitimately probably the coolest Star Wars sketch I've ever seen, outside of the Darth
Nice.
Maul.
Congrats to you, Bazooka Tom. If Nate likes it, I know it's cool.
It was very cool, and it doesn't hurt that it's Ahsoka because she's going to be obviously playing a major role in upcoming Star Wars, everything Star Wars, which is awesome. All right, should we get on to trivia?
Let's do it.
All right. And just a reminder, I cannot see the chat, Mr. Nowak. So if you can, if you see anything interesting, feel free to
Oh,
shout it out.
all right. I didn't realize that.
I can see the chat when I'm on StreamYard, but when I'm on the controlling
Gotcha.
the slideshow, I can't. All right, sports card trivia. Fun little fact: it is sports card trivia, but there is some non-sports card trivia in here, so slightly a lie. But we're going to start off with some football trivia. This player has the longest passing completion and the longest rushing attempt on the year. Same player. Who is it? So we'll give the chat some time to guess. Obviously it can only be so many names, but I will say when we're through 3 games, I was not expecting this. Having figured it out, I was very impressed. It is this guy's world, and we are just living in it.
I was off when I looked at this one. And when Kirk Cousins first came to mind, I knew I was way off.
Kirk Cousins' the longest rushing attempt. If it's past 10 yards, I'd be shocked. So we've got 3 guesses. Jordan says Lamar. Trey says Hurts. Will says Lamar. And 2 of you are correct. It is Lamar Jackson. So he has had a 75-yard pass and a 79-yard run this year. And obviously it's become more difficult to have longer than a 75-yard pass nowadays with touchbacks being put at the 25. But nonetheless, through 3 games, having a 75-yard pass and a 79-yard run is insane. He also has 10 touchdowns on the season. He has only 2 interceptions. His passer rating is tops in the NFL at 119. I mean, his touchdowns is tops in the NFL at 10, I believe. He has the longest run of any quarterback. He has the longest passing touchdown of any quarterback. The dude has been insane. And along with that, just straight up rushing yards, he's fourth in the NFL, tied for 4th with Christian McCaffrey in rushing yards in the NFL with 243.
Wow. So is this the year that Lamar gets the respect he deserves? And I don't know, have you been looking at his card market? I mean, has it been showing it?
I have not looked at his card market. Maybe that would be a good thing to do for a trender today. I did see his Concourse PSA 9, silver PSA 9 had been trending up in the last week, more than I think any other football card. So it has been on the move, at least for something as, I don't want to say minuscule, but that's not the most expensive card in the world, as that. And I got to imagine other Lamar Jackson cards are up. He has been on a whole nother level, and it hasn't been like he's just been playing bum teams. I mean, he played the Dolphins last week type of thing, who are a very good team, and they played the Patriots this week, which, say what you will, it's still Bill Belichick on that sideline. And anytime you have Bill Belichick, that is a good team to be facing.
Well, he deserves it. I mean, the guy plays.
I also saw, don't quote me on this stat because it was a brief thing I saw on Twitter, but I believe I saw that he now has 4 games where he has 3+ passing touchdowns and 100+ yards rushing in the same game, which is an NFL record.
Wow. Very good.
It's just a whole nother level. All right. Question 2. This should be pretty easy. Who has the lowest passer rating of any qualified starter in the NFL?
You talking career or season or
Season, sorry. So 2022 season, who has the lowest passer rating of any qualified NFL starter? Dak Prescott does not count. He only played a portion of the first game. Otherwise, it would be him.
gotcha?
And not necessarily well, of all starters. And they have to be qualified. So it's not going to be, you know, uh the anybody from the Cowboys essentially. So we've got Baker, we've got Justin Fields, we've got Matt Ryan, we've got Baker or Flacco. We got
Trubisky.
Mitch. I will tell you guys, one of you is correct. Which one is the question? But one of you is correct. It has been named, and not seeing any other names come in from the bench is correct. Justin Fields has a passer rating of exactly 50 on the season.
Oof.
That is not going to get it done. He, of course, only had 11 passes last week against the Packers, one of which went for an interception. So that hasn't been good. And the guys below him, you've got Teddy Bridgewater, who's only thrown 2 passes. Case Keenum, thrown 2 passes. Tommy Townsend, who's thrown 1. I believe that's their punter or their kicker, the Chiefs. Malik Willis, who has thrown 4 passes. And then Dak Prescott at 47%, but he only threw 29 passes in that first game. And then you have Justin Fields at 50, and then Trey Lance at 55.
I think
and then Mac Jones is the next lowest at 76. So it has not been a good showing. Davis Mills, 77. It has not been a good showing for 2021 rookie QBs. And of course, Zach Wilson has not played yet.
You know, you got all these good young quarterbacks who everybody was grabbing up right before the season. And now it feels like things are shaking out. 3 games in, things are shaking out, right?
Mm-hmm. It's one of those scary things is you have that many QBs. And for Jim, because he said Baker, I didn't go far enough. Baker is at an 80 passer rating. Slightly ahead of Jameis Winston at 79 and Joe Flacco at 77. But you had so many rookie QBs in that 2021 draft class, and everyone's like, well, somebody, a couple people have to pan out. And of course, you expect Trevor Lawrence, one of the highest rated QB prospects since Andrew Luck, to pan out. Like, that's just a given. So then after that, it's, Zach Wilson played at BYU. Trey Lance played in North Dakota, and so it's kind of Mac Jones, Alabama, yes, but outside of now Tua and Hurts this year, like when's the last time an Alabama quarterback did well in the NFL? And so there was some red flags all over the place, but that did not stop investors from being like, there's going to be somebody else good in here. And so far, they've all been bad. Now, Zach Wilson, we will see, but he was by far the worst rookie QB last year. He hasn't played this year. We will find out how he does. I'm not expecting big things from him whatsoever. And it could be number 1 pick, great. The next 5 QBs drafted with Wilson, Lance, Fields, Jones, or 6 QBs, Kellen Mond and Davis Mills. It could be a bloodbath. So we will see. I am secretly, because I'm a big baseball guy and I just find the NFL market absurd. Secretly, I don't hate this outcome because I think maybe it will cause people to be a little bit more hesitant when investing in QB prospects in the years to come. We'll see.
So Jim says Archie Manning's son will be good.
They paid Texas. I saw Texas, the school paid $230,000 for his official visit. Him and 9 him and 9 other guys were on the visit, yes, but it's Archie Manning's visit, or Cooper Manning's visit, and it's definitely one of those things where all of these schools are going to be pulling out all the stops to get him, and $230,000 is probably not the most we're going to see by the time it's all said and done.
Jim, I was chuckling when you said Archie Manning's son will be good, and I wanted to see if Nate would pick up on that, but it is Cooper Manning's son. Trivia back at you, Nate.
Cooper's the one that did not play. Did he get injured? Is that why he didn't play in the NFL? Or is he just not good at football? I can't remember. I feel like I remember something about him getting injured, which is why he's the one of the 3 Manning brothers that didn't play.
All I know is he's the one who didn't play. Maybe somebody out there does know the story behind it, and they'll share.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
All right. I mean, Aaron and I like watching Texas football, so we're kind of excited. I mean, we're excited to see what happens with that one.
Correct. And 2 out of 3, yeah. You put it's like LeVar Ball. People bash LeVar Ball. You put 2 sons firmly in the NFL or in the NBA, and a third, borderline occasionally. Like, that's impressive. Or with the Antetokounmpos, though I do think Giannis is probably the only one that deserves to be there, and the others get there because of Giannis. But you have 2 sons. There you go. Cooper Manning had congenital spinal stenosis, so prone to spinal cord injury. Peg Junk says he blew out his knee. Could have done both. But yeah, you put 2 sons in the NFL. Pretty impressive.
So we shouldn't just consider him a bad football player.
Correct. Well, that was my question. Was he injured or was he just bad?
Right.
The answer is injured. Which 2021 rookie QB has the highest passer rating this season?
This goes back to the previous discussion.
And that's why I did it with Justin Fields' last question. I figured we'd throw in a really easy one this question. And we don't need to spend much time on this. This is quite easy. If you've watched football this year, you will know this answer. It is, of course, Trevor Lawrence at 103.1. And a fun little fact about Trevor Lawrence's 103.1 is that also puts him in the top 10 of qualified passers behind Lamar, Tua, Patrick, Josh, Jalen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. He is 6th in the NFL in passer rating. Pretty stinking impressive, considering the guys in front of him are either guys that have won MVPs, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, or expected to win an MVP in Josh Allen, or the 2 brightest young quarterback surprises of the season in Tua and Jalen Hurts. So definitely keeping really, really good company in the early going.
No, it's good. I feel I'm happy for him. It was a terrible season he had to walk into last year, and just a bad situation. So I'm glad to see he's playing well. And it looks like everybody was pretty unanimous on that one, Nate. You didn't stump him that time.
No. Tell you what stumps me. Colin Cowherd said today that Jalen Hurts is progressing along just like Josh Allen did. Woo, that is a take. Colin Cowherd has had some takes. He's generally somebody I do not listen to, because his whole job is to just say ridiculous things just to get reactions, so he gets clicks. But that is pretty bad. Never compare Jalen Hurts to Josh Allen. That's what I would say. All right, next question. Now this is a question I would not have known without looking it up, so I put it in here. This player currently leads the NFL in sacks, and fun little fact, he doesn't have any cards.
That's a cool fact.
So I, not being uber in tune with other teams' defenses, I'd never even heard of this guy, but he leads the NFL in sacks.
I was excited because I had the right team Wrong player. So I got halfway there.
Is the wrong player currently injured, out for the year?
True.
So Will, and a quick little thing here. It is not Micah Parsons, but you are correct. He has not played his third game. It easily could be Micah Parsons by tonight. Without a doubt. It could be Micah Parsons tonight pretty easily, but you are supposed to be guessing the question in the in the chat. Definitely. Please give your guess. So it is not Micah Parsons. But I'm guessing he will get a sack tonight and be the lead. And it is not Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson has 2.5. The league leader has 4.5. There it is. Alex 20 gets it. It is, in fact, Alex Highsmith. I had never heard of this guy. He was a third-round pick a couple years ago. I had never heard of him. TJ Watt gets injured. Alex Highsmith stepping in with 4.5 sacks. Just absolutely bonkers. I don't know what the Steelers do, but they're always churning out defensive stars year in, year out for as long as I can remember. And Alex Highsmith at 4.5. He had 3 in the first game, 1.5 yesterday. Now, it doesn't help them win because obviously the quarterback situation is terrible, but still cool that you can lose TJ Watt and you still might you might end the year with the guy with the most sacks, but I would put all my money on that being Micah Parsons as long as he stays healthy.
We shall see.
Yeah. Oh, and I heard an interview with Micah Parsons today. Super nice guy. Also very humble. Shockingly humble for a guy who's that good.
Quality points.
Yep. All right. This 6th-year running back currently has the largest quarterly percentage change of any NFL player for any card that is tracked on Card Ladder. Minimum grade 9 and above. So I know that's a lot there, but I'll say it again. This 6-year running back currently has the largest quarterly percentage change on Card Ladder of any NFL player. And the card has to be graded 9 or above. Question 1 is, who is the player? Question 2, bonus question, is what is the card? You can just you don't have to say like PSA 9, PSA 10, but if you wanted to say Prism Silver or Optic Purple or Stars or something like that, you let me know. So we've got Saquon.
I don't want to give out any hints on this yet.
Derrick Henry. I can give out some hints if people need it. I was hoping that the 6th-year running back would be the enough of a hint where it narrows down the field enough. We shall see. Derrick Henry is too old, and Saquon is too young, I believe. Wait, no, Saquon might be right. The right age. He's definitely 2018. Was Saquon 2018? I think Saquon might have been 2018. We're looking for 2017. Patty Mahomes year.
So I got a hint, but you got to know a little bit about us at Slab Stocks to get it. But I was super bummed I got this wrong.
Oh, that is a tough scene. That is a tough scene for you. We are getting closer with the Dalvin Cook guess, and I will give you an answer. It is a Prism Silver. But we are closer with the Dalvin Cook guess. I will say that much. I won't say why we are closer, but we are closer.
We're a little warm with the Melvin Gordon guess, too.
We were a little warm with the Melvin Gordon guess, and there it is. Jordan got it. Aaron Jones, if you can believe that. Aaron Jones, 304% growth on his 2017 Prism Silver PSA 9 in the last 3 months. started at $14.59, rose to $59 June 28th to September 20th. So obviously Jones had gotten off to a hot start for the year, but still quite crazy to me that anybody would actually spend $60 on his card. Now I guess I get it that like if you expect the Packers to have a big year, Aaron Jones is probably going to have to be a big reason why, just because of the youth and lack of either their athletic wide receivers are super young, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, or their experienced wide receivers are not uber athletic anymore. Shout out Randall Cobb.
Had a nice game yesterday.
Yeah, Cobb's nice, but he's not 24-year-old Randall Cobb anymore. So it's pretty crazy to me. I don't think I would have expected that, but I love to see it.
Jim, I agree with you on yesterday's games were poorly played. Man, there were some weird scores and weird things that happened.
14-12, 21-19, 11-10. A ton of low scoring games. The Vikings coming back on the Lions 28-24. I mean, that's 4 games at least that were within a touchdown. Not
Nate,
even including an extra point.
Real Music wants to know what you think of Lazard.
I really like Lazard. I think he's a really nice wide receiver. I don't think he's a wide receiver number 1. I think if Lazard is your wide receiver number 3, you're in a really good shape. If he's your number 2, it's a little bit more questionable. But he's big bodied. He can go up and get it a little bit. He can be a possession receiver if you want. I really like him, but I just don't think if he's your number 1 at the end of the season that you are going to be able to do anything, especially in playoffs against really good defenses, which is why we need Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs to develop.
I like Jim's take here. You know, the quality on the field's being hampered by the way they're running preseasons and all that stuff.
And some of these teams don't even, Vikings and the Packers, neither team played any of their starters the entire preseason.
I agree.
So, all right, moving on.
Real Music says Lazard reminds him of Drake London.
Ooh, that's a nice compliment. Drake London, first round pick this year. Guess the price of the highest selling card of every member of the 700 home run club. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go oldest to youngest. So starting out with Barry Bonds, moving to Hank Aaron, starting out with Babe Ruth, moving to Hank Aaron, moving to Barry Bonds, moving to Albert Pujols. I'm going to give you the picture of the most expensive card that is ever sold of that player. And then I want you to guess the price. Is everyone ready for this? I think this should be pretty fun. All right, number 1 is Babe Ruth, and this is the 1933 Gaudy PSA 9, the best condition 1933 Babe Ruth Gaudy in existence. Guess the price. And I remember the ballpark, but I didn't write down the answers, and I can't go to the next slide to figure it out. So we're gonna let some guesses get in here, and then we will give the answer. I will tell you this: this is a very expensive card. Very, very expensive. What's up, Big John? You missed my Justin Fields slander, so you came in at the right time. All right, so we got guesses here. 4 million, 2 million, 2.8 million, 3.4 million. I will say Jordan's closest. Now it's tough. It's between Jordan, Tech, and Big John. It's in the middle there. I don't know who is closest. 4.2 million. So Jordan and Tech Though the card ladder value nowadays is $6.7 million. This sold on July 10th, 2021 in Memory Lane auction. Um, just an absolutely incredible card, if you ask me. And a very high price, but considering what people are paying for cards of Justin Herbert, I know different sport, but like Justin Herbert and guys like that, uh 4 million or 6.7 million doesn't seem like it's enough at this point. We're talking Babe Ruth here, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
All right, next up is Hank Aaron. So this is 1954 Topps Hank Aaron PSA 9 and it was given a PWCC A. So that does increase the value there. PWCC has their own subgrade thing, and they gave it an A, like it is like the top 15% or so of Hank Aaron PSA 9s. I'm not 100% sure what the percentage is, but it is close to the top of all PSA 9s for quote unquote niceness.
It's one of my favorites. You probably knew that, Nate, right?
I did. Did you ever end up grabbing one? I know Aaron did. He grabbed a PSA 3.
I actually have a
3.5.
1964 that I grabbed prior to his passing. And I don't even know what it's worth. I haven't even looked because I just like the card, you know? It's my only
Yeah,
Aaron card.
one of those things. There's certain cards that's just like could be worth something, but would you ever sell it? I don't know. Probably not. All right, so we have some guesses. Jordan says 1.6 million, and then he goes down to 720,000. Jordan, that's not how this works, sir. Can't have two guesses. Only one. That Aaron Will says that Aaron will be like 8 to 900. Tech says 750. Jim says 750. Big John says 2.5. I'm assuming he means 2.5 million as opposed to 1,000. And then M Clippers says 650, and Dat Boy Tommy says 550. Well, we will see who's closest because I honestly do not remember what the answer is here, and it is 720,000. So let's see who got closest without going. Oh, Jordan, did you cheat? Did you cheat? Did you look it up and then come back and put that in? We're disregarding Jordan's. I think he cheated. And M Clippers with the closest guess, 70,000 off, but did not go over. If we're disregarding Jordan for potential cheating.
We'll let him defend himself. Let's see. Oh.
Unbelievable. All right, on to the next one. This for me was the hardest one. Barry Bonds. I didn't even know what Barry Bonds cards went for to start, but we've got the 1986 Topps Traded Tiffany set Barry Bonds rookie BGS 10. Barry Bonds, who pre-steroids with the Pirates, won 2 MVPs and placed second in another one before going over to San Francisco and starting steroids, which is always the worst what if in the world, is that Barry Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer without the steroids, and the fact that he started it and did all those steroids and ruined that career is just the worst. The worst. M Clippers says 18K. The pristine Bonds goes for a decent premium, 15K. Remember that this is a Tiffany, not just the regular Topps Traded. So for those of you out there, just keep that in mind. Jordan says 30K. Jim says 7,800. So you do all kind of value Barry Bonds cards the same amount that the market realistically values Barry Bonds cards. So that's nice to see. Tech says 12.5K, and then Jim says he's upping it with the Tiffany set to 13.2.
What does a Tiffany mean,
Nate? Honestly, I'm I'm pretty sure it was a special set that wasn't printed a ton, and it might have gone out to somebody else. Will know actually what Tiffany is, but I'm fairly confident it is a special set that went out to maybe club members or something like Stadium Club started, but I'm not 100% sure. Big John says 26K. Will says, can't blame Bonds. All pros are pathologically competitive. Probably drove him nuts to see guys like Sosa get all that love. And it's true. Other guys are doing steroids. You want to be the best. You take that. You take that boost and you start doing steroids and see what happens. And I mean, it worked out. It's just you don't get the eye at the plate he had with steroids. Maybe some of your flyouts turn into home runs, but the eye at the plate he had, and obviously he wouldn't have gotten intentionally walked as much, but like he still was insane. He was still really good, and he just didn't need it. Well, I will say you are all off by a pretty significant margin. This sold for $40,800 on the September 18th, 2021 PWCC Premier Auction. So about a year ago, a year and a week, it sold for $40,000. We'll say $41,000.
That's putting out some money.
Yeah, it is. So pretty cool.
Look at the card ladder value on it.
Well, the card ladder value, Jordan was close at that point. Overpriced, says M Clippers, and it's tough to say. For me anyways, like you're getting more and more people that view Barry Bonds in a different light because they just don't care as much about steroid use. And if you get enough people to just not care and say, hey, Barry Bonds was still amazing, regardless steroids or not, then I do think that maybe this isn't undervalued and he finally gets the shine that he probably deserves. Because like I get what people say, but his steroid use turned him into the best baseball player ever. There's a lot of other guys that use steroids that were not the best baseball players ever. It's like the same argument people use when they say all Giannis does is tall and can dunk. That's why he's good. If what Giannis did was only because he was tall, every single tall guy would have been amazing.
Truth from Nate. I agree.
And like Barry Bonds, I watched a clip of him. Obviously, I saw some of him growing up, right? But we didn't have like access to Giants games, so it had to have been playing against the Brewers. I watched a clip of him facing Eric Gagne when Eric Gagne was at the tip top of his game, as a reliever, and Gagne got out ahead 0-2 on him. Bonds didn't even like break a sweat. He was basically smiling at the plate, and he just fouled off ball, and then drove a ball into the river, or into the bay, foul. And then the very next pitch proceeded to jack a home run to center field. And it was like, that was Barry Bonds. It didn't matter who was pitching to him. He was incredible. And Travis says, you don't think Trout has used steroids with all those injuries? I will say, I was talking to somebody, I won't out any names, but I was talking to somebody who would know. He's been in MLB clubhouses, and I won't out any players, but he said he saw steroid use pretty rampant, and that there were guys that got busted all the time, and if the Players Association liked them, it would just go away, and that it took guys usually an absurd amount, like 10 caught steroid conviction, or like getting caught like 10 times before the Players Association finally let a suspension be levied. So it is very likely that your favorite players probably have done a steroid or two in the past. Maybe not all of them, but definitely a good amount of them. And the MLB Players Association is very strong and can get some of these things just swept away.
You could be right, Nate, because there's always this talk, like there's this assumption everybody does it in the MLB,
Yeah. And that's why like Fernando Tatis, the guy who was telling me, he's like, he assumes that unless the MLB Players Association didn't like Tatis, there's an assumption that he probably got caught multiple times, and he finally they had to give him a suspension.
All right.
Nope, won't tell you that. I'll have to let Alexa do that for you. I don't know if you ever saw that video, but there's a video of a little kid going up to Alexa and asking if reindeer are real, and Alexa says no, and the kid just loses it.
Alexa's a machine.
Yeah.
No emotion, doesn't know what's going on. Oh,
Yep.
It's talking to me right now.
And this is why, Travis says over half the pro players do roids. It's a given. And this is why it's so stupid that people gatekeep the Hall of Fame and say that Barry Bonds can't get in. Because there's a ton of guys that do it. And none of those guys are as good as Barry Bonds. All right. Last one is Albert Pujols. Any guesses? Real quick. We've used up a lot of time, so we'll go through these last ones quickly. Albert Pujols, 2000, excuse me, 2001 Bowman Chrome Refractor Auto, number to 500, PSA 1010. I'll tell you, I'll give you a hint. It's more than Barry Bonds. It's less than Hank Aaron.
It's a sweet card, too.
All right, Jordan is cheating. Jordan's a cheater, Derek Jeter. And we'll just give it away. $462,000. He thinks he's funny, but he might get blocked. I might block him. Jordan, today might be the day. We will see. We will see. Keep it up. Keep it up. As my grandma used to tell me, keep it up.
The grandma from Philly?
Yeah. I didn't cheat on this, I promise. I'm impressed. All right, Jordan. All right. I'm impressed. You were a bit closer than Will and Jim, to be fair. All right.
And
Which card has
we followed up the steroid conversation with the comment, I didn't cheat.
And speaking of guys that most likely use steroids, Albert Pujols. Which card has the highest percentage increase in the last year? So from last September to this September, minimum $50. Which card of all the cards out there has gone up? And I'm just going to start giving these away because we are close to the hour here. That is Aaron Judge, 2013 Bowman Chrome Black Auto, number to 35, BGS 95. You could have got this card a year ago on October 25th for $2,228. And on September 22nd, it sold for $25,000. I have seen insane trends in my lifetime, but nothing more than this. This guy, yes, he is having an amazing year. Yes, if he wasn't on the Yankees probably aren't a playoff team. He's also going to be on the wrong side of 30 by the time he signs a huge contract. He's not going to be playing in a contract year where he has to put up massive stats and play every game. In my mind, there's only one way that this card can go, and it's going to be a bloodbath for this person that bought at 922, and probably also the person that bought at 910, and probably also the person that bought at 723. It is not going to be good.
He's an awesome story, though.
He is an awesome story. It's been super fun to watch. It's just a card going from $2,228 to $25,000 11 months later off of one season. It's just it's not good. It's throwing your money away, essentially. And then which card had the highest price decrease in the last year? Minimum $50, and that is Jadon Sancho. So you're going to say to me, hey, this is a funny graph. That's gigantic. And then it goes all the way down and stays down there. Fair. The prices around this before this were all similar priced. They were all best offers except for one auction that went for a reasonable amount. So and then it was higher before that. So there is some potential that somebody was messing with it. and was buying all the best offers and put the auction up to try to boost the price. I don't know. That being said, what we have is a 93.5% drop from $1,350 to $87 in a year. That is as rough as it gets. Absolutely as rough as it gets. And then real quick, which three players are tied for the Champions League lead in goals? Anybody have a guess on that? It's actually, even if you don't know anything about soccer, you've likely heard of these three guys. And even if you hate Messi and Ronaldo, which is not these two guys, you still probably heard of these three guys, if that makes sense. Just this year, just in this year's Champions League games, which there's been, what, 2? This season.
I bet you we can get somebody to get 2 out of 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could get 2 out of 3. 2 years ago, Nathan, who knew way less about soccer than he does today, could have still gotten 2 out of 3.
Most soccer card collectors for sure can get 2 out of 3 on this one. We got one up there.
Is Nate talking soccer? Can we get his temperature? Ice cold right now. So yes, we have Mbappe and Haaland. A lot of Haaland. So we've got Jordan has 2. Those were the 2 easier ones. Does anybody know? And they're all tied with 3 goals each. Who is the third? It's not Vinicius, Vinny Jr. It's not Karim Benzema. It's not Dusan Vlahovic. It is not Christian Pulisic.
But the guy is a beast.
I will give you one more hint. He's Polish. And Jim did say Haaland, also correct. And he also said Mbappe. So Jim and Jordan have the 2 of the 3 right.
There you go.
Yep, there we go. Jordan Lewandowski is the third. There you go. And I think I have one. Oh, I have one. Maybe 2 more. I think I have 2 more questions. The list of F1 drivers who have posted fastest lap in a race this year is 7 names long. 6 of those drivers have done it multiple times. Which driver out of the 7 has only done it once?
It's a good question, Nate.
This will take some this would have taken some talent, but I guess Jordan's just on one today. It is, in fact, and since we're lacking time, Verstappen's won multiple, Leclerc's won multiple, Hamilton's won multiple. The other guys that have won multiple, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz. The one guy that has only won 1 is Jordan's first guess, Lando Norris. And he won that in Monaco with a lap of 1 minute 14.693 seconds. Oh, I have two more questions. Okay, 2 more. What was the highest selling card in 2022 that wasn't from the 4 major American sports? So not NFL, NBA, MLB, or NHL. The highest selling card. I put 2 options up there because one was a private sale, one was not a private sale, but it was a rally road like buyout thing, which was weird. So I put up a second option. So there's 2 different ones from what I could find. And Jordan has one of them, the Hamilton Superfractor that sold for $900K. That is the second one, though. And the first one, Jordan's just on it today. He knows his trivia. Pele, 1953, a word I can't say because I don't know how to say it. Pele base PSA 9 that sold by a rally buyout for $1,330,000 on February 12th. And then, of course, the 2020 Topps Chrome Superfractor Lewis Hamilton PSA 7 that sold for $900,000 on April 30th, 2022. And then one last question today. Will the Brewers make the playoffs? We pretty much need to go essentially 7. We need the Phillies to go 5-5, and we need to go 7-2 to make the playoffs, or 6-3, and the Phillies have to go 4-6.
So you're saying the odds are not with us, huh?
The odds are not in our favor. Maybe if we had beaten the Reds yesterday instead of losing 2-1, we would have maybe had a better chance. But the odds are not looking good right now. The Brewers have beaten me down. This is how I feel. The Brewers they have been as disappointing as it gets, to say the least.
So
They have a 500 record against winning teams. So above 500 teams, they have a winning record. The Phillies, the Braves, and the Padres all have losing records against 500 teams or teams above 500. They all have losing records. The team that doesn't is the Brewers. They have a 500 record exactly, 31-31 against winning teams, and yet we couldn't take care of business against the Pirates, the Reds, or the Cubs. Just the worst. So,
it was going to be one of those years right from the start.
Yeah. So for everyone that doesn't have a disappointing team out there, shout out, to
Travis is a disappointed Twins fan, but Jim seems to be excited about the Mets. So
yeah. So that's all I got today. I think we are out of questions.
Good job,
Papa
Nate.
Slab. Anything left?
Nah, I just want to say good job. That was super entertaining and good discussion. Thank you, everybody, for attending. It was great. Thanks for letting me steal Aaron's chair here.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. The next time you see us on YouTube, we will be on the PWCC Flip Quest at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday night next week. Otherwise, if you want to hear our beautiful voices again, you can join Whatnot on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for our What's Brewing episode. We will be giving away $750 worth of cards, and that will be 2 boxes of 2017 Topps Chrome. We will be going Aaron Judge hunting. So if you want a chance at some free packs and maybe a free Aaron Judge, join us on Whatnot on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Slab Stocks channel. Will be really fun.
Be awesome to see some of the regulars come in and win those prizes. So hopefully that works
would be
out.
really fun. I would love if one of you guys came in and got an Aaron Judge or a Cody Bellinger or something. With that being said, thank you everyone for joining tonight's YouTube Live. I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time, and we will talk to you guys again next time.
See ya.